Wrestling Podcast.
That's right, geeks.
Listen up, wrestling fans.
That is so profane, Dana, and rude.
Personally, I like to see the ladies.
I can't look at her too long. I start to cry. It's so beautiful.
We're all starting to cry that we're not beautiful, I guess. I don't know. That was not a very good introduction. But welcome to the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about the best pro wrestling in the world. I'm Tommy Stryker. Joining me is Taco.
What up?
Joe is here as well.
What's up?
And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We got Raw and SmackDown, the big Payback show. We got predictions for Payback. We'll talk a little Ring of Honor. We finally got the show caught up with what's been going on with the pay-per-views and all that.
Took long enough.
So we'll talk about Ring of Honor. We'll talk some NXT. Want to talk a little bit of New Japan, but we'll save the bulk of New Japan talk for Strong Honor. But we'll touch on it a little bit here. And of course, we're going to start off with some news, but I wanted to mention off to all the new listeners, again, thanks for listening to and checking out the show. Tell people about it on social media, on Facebook, facebook.com/Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, on Twitter, @BPW Podcast. Check out the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com, and then just do a search for Best Pro Wrestling Podcast on your favorite podcast gimmick and tell everybody about it.
Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, because that's like currency in the podcast world.
There you go. Exactly. So let's also for the new listeners, I wanted to mention that this isn't like all the other, it's a lot like a lot of the pro wrestling podcasts where we go over stuff, but we try to keep it positive and not just be bitching about everything. So we get our little fair bit of bitching here and there, but we try not to have it just be 100% bitch fest. So that being said, let's talk about the news of the week before we get into the specifics.
We have quite a bit of news for you.
So a little bit more on the Morrow situation. He released a statement to Newsweek, who had a whole story on the Morrow Ronaldo situation. In his statement, he said JBL had nothing to do with this. WWE and I have parted ways, settled whatever, and that and WWE said that Morrow is under contract until August, is it 18th?
15th?
Somewhere in there. I think maybe the 12th. Anyway, somewhere.
I don't know, 17th.
Sometime in the teens. Morrow is under contract for, and they're going to continue to honor his contract, whatever he's owed monetarily wise, whatever. What Meltzer and some of the other the guys at the Torch are saying is that there's more to be told with this story yet. Yes, Morrow is saying publicly that JBL has nothing to do with why he's leaving the company, but apparently there have been eyewitnesses to some of the bullying things that have happened, but nothing's been on the record yet. Things have not come out yet, but there is more to this Morrow Ronaldo JBL story than is out there now. So
just disappointing.
It is. It's disappointing all around, and I really hope that once this WWE contract thing is up, that we get Morrow back doing some sort of New Japan stuff, because he was great. And don't get me wrong, Jim Ross is great doing the Access TV show, and I love Kevin Kelly doing the actual stuff on New Japan World. But if we could get Morrow somehow in any of that,
Ring of Honor would be great.
Ring of Honor would be good.
That's a power name they need.
That would certainly bring that would be a big get for Ring of Honor. But I would really like, especially with all this the stuff that New Japan is going to be trying to do in the United States starting early July this year, and who knows how much they're going to do next year, but it's certainly sounding like it's going to be an increased presence in the United States going forward for New Japan. So that, to me, would be a great spot for Morrow to land. So.
Absolutely. I know WWE, nothing's been talked or discussed about, like, paperwork wise, but I know Mike Goldberg's high on their list right now.
Really? That's interesting.
Which I don't know. Hearing a guy call a Vikings game, he cannot do football.
He used to do wild hockey back in the day, I know, before he did UFC. He was like a hockey commentator for the Wild, actually.
Sure.
Which I feel would be worse compared to football.
And I didn't see a ton of his MMA stuff. I'm not a big MMA guy.
He said some silly shit, but
yeah, kind of what
he was kind of the combo with Rogan. It's kind of been hard since, I don't know, a lot of fans, I'm one of them, that doesn't like him being gone. It was so sudden, and didn't even get like a proper bye for all of his years there. Sure. But there's other MMA promotions that are he's kind of a hot item right now just because he's a big brand name. But
Sure. Has he done any Bellator or anything like that?
No, yet? I know they're one of the big companies that want to bring him in. They're another one of those MMA organizations making moves. But yeah, I just was reading that today that nothing's been talked about, but he's one of the people high up on the list right now that WWE is considering and discussing with. So
interesting. I wonder how he would do with pro wrestling, because I don't know if he has any kind of prior knowledge of it.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
Like,
really.
One of the criticisms of him in UFC, I think, was him just kind of going with whatever Joe Rogan said. Him just kind of no matter what it was, like him not really having much of an opinion himself,
right?
And just kind of being the hype guy or whatever. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't think he'd be as good as Morrow, but maybe that's not what WWE wants, obviously. It was, I kind of saw the writing on the wall with Morrow, too. Like, as soon as they started bringing Tom Phillips in with the 4-man booth, it's like, what's happening here? This is just strange. Like, Morrow can't read copy or something. It's like, that was just very odd, I thought. So, Cody sounds like he's going to be settling down his indie schedule. Cody Rhodes, I should say. Settling down the indie schedule. Looks like he's going to be signing with Ring of Honor. Nothing official yet, but that seems to be at the top of the list with Ring of Honor and their relationship with New Japan. Him having he's obviously booked to work the G1 Climax this year. So look forward to him there. And so with that relationship that Ring of Honor has, it sounds like, and he's pretty much indicated too without actually saying that it's looking like Ring of Honor is going to be the landing place for
there's
Cody
a lot
Rhodes.
of people in New Japan on his list still. So
Right.
Just works out for the both of them.
Looks like the Torch reported that Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett are going to WWE and not going to NXT. They're going to be going probably right to the main roster. Speculation is SmackDown at this point, so
cool.
We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Nothing yet on those two, but this reported last week on the Torch. Then the Observer reported that there is a film in the works on Vince McMahon's life. So it was just recently that the Hollywood Reporter reported this. Apparently the name of it's going to be Pandemonium. It looked like the WWE wasn't quite on board with it right away, but then apparently they signed off on the script. So that'll be interesting, something to look forward to in the next year or two.
Just be fun to see who gets to play Vince McMahon.
Right. The Hardys over the weekend wrestled for House of Hardcore.
I was going to say Tom Hardy should play Vince McMahon, so that's kind of good you went to the Hardy Boys.
But the Hardys were initially told that they weren't going to be able to finish up their indie dates, but then they worked out a deal because whatever the replacement was for the Hardys at this House of Hardcore show didn't work out, so they ended up working something out, so they did in fact wrestle. Also in news of contracted WWE wrestlers wrestling outside of WWE, Drew Galloway, a.k.a. Drew McIntyre, recently signed to NXT. He finished up some dates with Evolve over the weekend. Today I got a chance to check out. It was Galloway versus Matt Riddle in an I Quit match, which I was kind of in and out of. Admittedly, I was kind of looking at some other stuff and doing some research for the show while the match was on, but it was one of these odd I Quit matches where the bulk of it was just them beating up each other outside of the ring, power moves and stuff like that, and instead of like submissions or whatever. But it was eventually a Matt Riddle submission that got Galloway to say I quit. So, but it was a pretty good match. Speaking of Evolve, this doesn't really have anything to do with the news or anything, but I might as well slip it in here since I'm on the topic. I was checking out the Evolve. I was 82 and 83 earlier today. Actually, I didn't get to 83. I just saw that main event that I was talking about, the Galloway versus Riddle. That was the main event for 83. But 82 had a really awesome match with Kyle O'Reilly versus Keith Lee. So
I don't know much about Keith Lee, but I want to see more Kyle O'Reilly.
Well, you remember Keith Lee? He was the tag team partner for Shane Taylor.
Okay,
we just watched a Shane Taylor match, and so there was those two big guys. Keith Lee is the more athletic of the two, also a big guy, not quite as big as Shane Taylor from Ring of Honor, But Keith Lee and fucking
he's packing some hams in those drawers.
Yeah, and fucking Kyle Oreilly. This is like the first I've seen Kyle Oreilly, I think, since Wrestle Kingdom.
Say it's been a while.
So he's kind of been out of the scene ever since his Ring of Honor contract being up. And he looked good. He looked great. He filled that spot in my soul that Shibata left. So, like, because they have such a similar hard-hitting style. But, and plus, you know, obviously the mat work, the submission work, Kyle O'Reilly brings that to the table, too. So it was fun seeing him. I forgot who he faced on Evolve 83, but I haven't had a chance to check that out yet. But that's definitely on the list of things to do as far as watching some Evolve stuff. And Evolve and this Flow Slam thing is really it's really caught my eye so far.
It sucked you in this last couple of weeks.
It really has. So I haven't canceled it yet. My whole plan was to cancel it before the next month, so I just pay the 1 month or whatever. So I guess I'll probably end up doing as well. I'll probably cancel, and then if I see something or hear of something that's awesome, I'll probably just end up going right back to it. But for the Evolve stuff, because it's kind of worth it, because those used to be like $15 per show when it was on the Fight TV app. So now $20 a month on Flow Slam's a pretty good deal if you were paying $15 per show before. Finally, Crazy Steve has left Impact and is rumored to be going to WWE. So swiftly to WWE. So I guess we'll see. Well, I know all the NXT stuff's been taped ahead of time until, well, I guess I don't know how far out because I don't follow.
I think through May.
So it could be a while before we see Crazy Steve show up.
Is he going to be NXT?
That I would assume so.
And my question is, I mean, I know there's already 4 members. Would he join Sanity? I mean, it's the obvious.
I don't see why not. That would be a good fit for him. But I mean, who knows? I mean, if the guy could be good at any number of gimmicks, who knows?
I would imagine TNA would have a no-compete clause, too, on some of the talent, at least, something like that.
I don't know. I feel like
he's the only one making money in TNA.
I feel like those guys have left there and shown up rather quickly on WWE TV. So, I mean, look at even Galloway, he was probably he was probably gone for a little bit before showing up on WWE.
Well, I remember James Storm popped in between him re-signing with TNA at that point. So
exactly, and Mickey James showed up pretty well. Mickey James might have been off TV for a while because I haven't been following Impact that closely.
No one is.
Right. I mean, why? I mean, the stuff I hear about the show, I mean,
Rick or fucking Scott Steiner.
Right.
Fucking Scott Steiner. That's all I have to say. Well, it's just as bad as Kevin Sullivan to me.
Not to get too crazy and too sour, but there's a reason why we don't talk too much TNA on the show. I remember I actually watched the first show of the new TNA era, the Anthem era, the Owl era, whatever you want to call it, and right off the bat, I was like turned off by the two play-by-play announcers bickering with each other. That's still going on. That was like a month and a half ago or something. Right. That's like they're still milking that story and like annoying people with the announcers arguing on I can't even watch it. Like I actually turned it on the other day, and it was like right back to that. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm not even going to watch it. I'm going to watch Total Divas instead. I watched 2 episodes of Total Divas instead of Impact this week. That's what I did.
The best thing Impact has done recently is finally put the nail in the coffin for Global Force.
Well, that was the other thing I heard is
they've officially merged them.
Right, so now they have Global Force champions and Impact champions.
Why not call the company Global Force then? I like that name.
Yeah, at least it was a decent name.
I say make that move if they can like get back on Spike or some other TV channel. That way you completely move away from the TNA things and you can kind of seamlessly move into a new TV deal. But I don't know how long. I mean, how long have people been saying TNA should change the name? They finally changed the name, but it's like too little, too late. Everybody still calls it TNA, and nobody's still watching. It's funny because like the amount of people that watch TNA on a weekly basis is the amount of people that stop watching Raw between hour 1 and hour 3. Like it's something like 300,000 people that watch TNA, and there's 300,000 people that stop watching Raw between hour 1 and hour 3.
I want to know how the fuck they have this channel that's on.
Pop TV?
Pop TV?
Well, they're not making any money from it. That's why.
Hell no.
It's basically free programming for Pop TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's probably, I guess it's one of the highest rated shows on there.
Good for them. Good luck with that.
That in Schitt's Creek. So, that's a show, folks. Look it up. And I guess it's kind of funny, too. I've never checked it out. It's got Eugene Levy on there.
Oh, this is a real thing.
Yeah, nice. Schitt's Creek is a real show.
I thought you were making up shit.
No,
Eugene Levy, I'm in.
Yeah, that's a thing. And I've heard it's decent, so I don't know. All right, let's get into some Monday Night Raw and some predictions for Payback.
Monday Night Raw.
So it started off with the highlight reel turned into Miz TV, turned into the Ambrose Asylum. So it was more of the I don't know, it was Talk Show City. You know, I watched Raw this week, and my wife was napping on the couch as I was watching Raw. And late in the show, she kind of wakes up and's like, do they ever wrestle? It's just every time I wake up, it's just talking. I'm like, yes, honey, it's a lot of talking. It's a 3-hour show with a lot of talking.
I could picture her saying it too. That's the best part. Do they wrestle?
Yeah, there was so much talking on Raw this week, though. I mean, with that, it was just like
it was like a home show. What do you expect?
How much? That did not. That was the go home. This is the get you excited show for Payback.
The one thing I hope that
we're sour.
I take out of this is that WWE realizes how much this is WWE accepting. All right, look, we've overdone it a little bit. We're taking it to a ridiculous point. Hopefully, we won't see too much. I mean, considering Jericho's going on tour
any day now. So Ambrose gives him the new light-up jacket. That was kind of funny. Miz demands that he gets some gifts, and Ambrose gives him the dirty deeds and puts Maurice on the list at the beginning of the show. Decent stuff here, I guess. Let's talk about the Jericho versus Kevin Owens match for Payback. It feels like it's going to be a Kevin Owens win here. That's my prediction. What do you guys say on that one?
I would still like to see Jericho go to SmackDown just because it'd be a lot of fun to bring him over there. Raw has enough.
That's certainly
They're
a possibility.
Still fine, but I think Kevin Owens walks out champion. He is the face of America now.
I feel like that's the obvious thing right now with everything I said between the Raw and SmackDown matches. They seem very one-sided and obvious who's going to win. I'm actually pulling for Jericho to win this one because I feel like there's still an untold story with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens and Triple H and that stuff going on there. So I don't know, this Face of America thing, it's funny, it's great, but I want to see the badass Kevin Owens, and I feel like he's only going to be like that on Raw with Samoa Joe and being kind of the henchman, like a beefed up J&J in a sense.
Yeah, but I don't know if Kevin Owens goes back to Raw if he loses the U.S. title. I think he stays on SmackDown, especially with what he was doing on commentary on SmackDown, because it was the Tom Phillips or somebody, whoever was saying, well, how's that going to make you feel if Jericho wins the U.S. title and joins you here on SmackDown? And then he got all upset or whatever. So that led me to believe that if Kevin Owens loses, he stays right there.
But then if Randy Orton loses, he goes to Raw.
Well, we'll get into the world title later. I've got a few thoughts on that when we talk about SmackDown. Now, what about? It feels like they're building up towards Miz versus Ambrose for the IC title. But as I was writing down the matches, going through everything, that match never came up. The only thing that came up was Miz doing Miz TV on the pre-show with Finn Balor. So it looks like we don't have an IC title match on this show. It certainly could add it, but right now at this point we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. Well, 7, but 8 with the kickoff, Anderson and Gallows versus Enzo and Cass. So it's a pretty stacked card already. But what about the IC title kind of getting the shaft at Mania, going to the pre-show?
Not needed.
And then kind of not even on this card here.
I feel it's not needed. You're going to give us the same Ambrose and Miz match we already see on SmackDown.
Right.
Nothing special. It's just going to do more harm than good. So might as well just kind of let Ambrose kind of take reins of Raw, since there's no fucking champion on Raw right now. Right. I mean, the IC is the biggest champion, and why throw that on there when you got 2 SmackDown titles being defended?
Right.
It's just, unless he was fighting someone in a new feud, don't put on another pre-show. It does more harm, and then we don't need to see them. Those two feud. I don't know. I'm over them.
Yeah, it does harm to Ambrose too. I mean, just keep putting him pre-show, or not at all.
Right.
I mean, you're just burying him.
Yeah, they need something new for Ambrose and Miz, like them coming from SmackDown and starting a feud, two SmackDown guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would feel a lot better if they had fresher opponents. Even though I feel like these two haven't had anything recently on SmackDown, did they?
Well, Ambrose won the belt from Miz.
That's right. Yeah. So that's true.
It's just just too comfort. You're keeping these guys too comfort, especially like Ambrose had he had a remarkable year. He was WWE champion. He was part of AJ Styles carrying SmackDown, making them a big name on digging them out of that hole they once were. And now they're, we when they did the brand split, we were like, let's see how long we're going to watch SmackDown for. We watched it every fucking week. They did they've done an amazing job, and he's definitely part of the reason why it's where it's at, including AJ Styles. Miz is also the biggest part of the reason why it was so entertaining. They brought those guys outside their box a little bit. Ambrose, one of the hardest workers on SmackDown, even got a clean pin over John Cena.
Yeah.
And then they move them both to Raw, and they just go right back to like, they're okay, same old shit.
Yeah. Then first match on the show, first wrestling match was Sheamus versus Matt Hardy. The Hardys they look really old in these singles matches. They look like they're sore. They look like it's a good thing they're in a tag team, because when they put them out there in the singles matches, it looks like they're having a tough time. Matt Hardy does get the win with the twist of fate after the Cesaro and Jeff Hardy distraction at ringside. Cesaro is upset after the match. Looks like he wants to get in their faces. And Sheamus is the voice of reason.
The cooler head.
The cooler head prevailing, if you will. And they all shake hands after the match. And a nice...
but if Sheamus didn't shake hands, he was going to delete him.
Yes. Yeah, I think he didn't say that too.
Yes.
He's like, if you don't shake hands, I'll delete you. That is interesting how Matt is just walking that line of, I'm normal Matt Hardy, but I'm going to throw this stuff in.
Oh, especially on Twitter. He's changing his Twitter handle like 3 times a day to like, like confused Matt Hardy, obscured Matt Hardy. He keeps going off on just crazy tangents like that. So it's, oh God, when this thing explodes in WWE, it's going to be sweet.
Well, I guess that's the big question. Is this match, Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardys for the Raw Tag Team titles, is this the match where Sheamus brogue kicks Matt Hardy in the face and breaks him?
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would love I feel like they're going to do some other crazy shit, like eventual feud, Wyatt fucking breaks Matt Hardy or something. I hope they don't go that route. No, I just want something simple, just a straight boot to the fucking face where match fucking like stalls for a minute because they're seriously like concerned for Matt Hardy. And then fucking match just continues and you see it in his eyes. We're like, did it happen? And then we found out next day on Raw, it happened.
Something has to break Matt Hardy, and I hope, and I predict it will be the boot of Sheamus.
Oh, I'm hoping.
As they win the Raw Tag Team
like
titles.
A big ooh, Cesaro swing into the boot.
Ooh, there you go. Well, anything that gets the titles off the Hardys, and then that causes Matt to be broken, and then we relive the broken Matt story via the WWE way of telling it, and I think that'd be fun. So,
God, I can't wait.
And then it's never going to happen.
Right? Probably not.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Wishful thinking at this point. Angle is in his office talking on the phone about the Kalisto dumpster match, and he's saying, I'm going to talk to Kalisto about this one more time because I really want to make sure that he wants to be in this match, even though it was Kalisto that made the challenge. Then The Miz comes in. He says he's been waiting outside for 2 minutes, and that's not cool. And then Angle says, you got to go find a partner / co-star. Maurice talks some French. Angle says, right back at you, lady. and that was that. So another silly office skit, but Angle did make it entertaining in the end, so that was good, I suppose. So what did you think of the angle of Miz looking for a partner throughout the show, petitioning fucking Heath Slater and Curtis Axel? Slater's like, I got a partner. Here comes Rhino eating some crackers. Fucking Maurice flips the crackers out of his hand. The fucking his reaction, and then
there's gifs of there out there.
You put that on Twitter.
Fucking. That was the best thing about that. Let's be honest.
You don't knock cheese and crackers out of a man's hands.
My God, the Rhino was like, "Oh my wow!"
What's even better is if you look closely, two of them stuck right on his chest.
Well, the easy cheese that definitely helped. It's like glue. So Miz is looking for a partner throughout the entire show. At one point, somebody delivers him a letter saying that a partner has volunteered to be his partner. Apparently, it was Bray Wyatt. So how about that main event, that big Monday Night Raw main event, a handicap match? It basically started with...
Sorry if I just spit all over you, Joe.
It's okay. Miz getting beat up by a couple of baby faces, by Jericho and what the hell? Ambrose, yeah. And then finally, they tease the table spot. Wyatt makes the lights go up. Magic! He makes magic! And he shows up. And he's apparently the mystery partner. Although they didn't do an actual finish to the match, they should have gotten counted out possibly, but they didn't do a count out.
Match is still going.
Well, they didn't. No, the match it just stopped at some point. The ref just decided, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to leave. The referee.
This is scary.
The referee quit the business. He just got the fuck out of there because
he went to that owl.
He's just gone. So for no reason, the match just ended, but it didn't really end. And Wyatt was there, and his sister Abigail'd everybody. And I'm not any more excited for the House of Horrors match.
No,
I am not any more excited for the Miz. The Miz looked like crap in there with these two doing his shitty Daniel Bryan yes kicks. Man, I am being sour this week. I did that whole thing at the beginning of the show where I said we're not going to run down all the shit.
Here we are, just fucking Shit's Creek everywhere.
This is coming from the guy. I've been trying to stay behind Bray Wyatt this whole time when he had the championship. This Randy Orton bullcrap. I'm so fucking over it. Like I can't.
It's been going on September.
Again, the lights.
September.
The lights thing is one thing. Like I'm always okay. You know, Undertaker did it. But like his mystical powers and Sister Abigail, and it's just too much. And his magical power projector.
I'm for that shit. It's just it's being portrayed wrong and going on. You can't take this guy credible at all because look at his entire fucking career. It's just a loss, a loss, and then finally he gets some heat, fucking steam going on in him. Gets the fucking championship. Randy Orton still fucking takes it. Crowd's fucking dead.
Losses and promises that he never keeps.
Braun Strowman,
you're going to die. Your soul is going to hell. You're going to live in eternal house of horrors. This will be your purgatory. None of that's going to happen. He keeps saying shit that's not going to happen.
What if this happens in a house?
It does. It's going to start in a house and finish in the ring.
Yeah,
apparently.
They said that on Raw.
I apparently did not catch that at all.
The match will start in the House of Horrors and end up in the arena. They didn't say in the ring. It's going to end up in the arena. So at some point, they'll end up probably in the arena, hopefully in a ring, and someone will get a 3 count.
Hopefully he gets pinned on some like natty merch.
Since we're talking about this now, I don't want to bring it up later. Go ahead with your predictions for the Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
Randy.
I actually... I sadly see Bray Wyatt walking out with the title again. There's just nothing for Randy Orton to do.
I want him to 100%. I'm with you. I do not want Randy Orton to win. It's just been boring. It's been lackluster. I feel like they only threw this on him for taking a few fucking punches to the face from Brock Lesnar. That's all I'm getting out of his fucking title run. There's nothing. It does nothing for me at all. Fucking Bray needs it.
The only one that's going to be walking away with the WWE title is Jinder Mahal. The WWE World title is in Jinder's
That's right, I
possession.
forgot about that.
He stole it and left SmackDown Live in a limo. I've gone back over the past couple of weeks and looked around a little bit on WWE.com. This is not being billed as a heavyweight championship match. This is just a match. This is just a House of Horrors match. So I think Wyatt wins. Why not?
Why not?
It doesn't affect anything. And then fucking Randy Orton can be broken and go lose to Jinder Mahal.
Were they not talking about
Or
being a
win-
rematch clause and winner fucking stays on SmackDown? I could have sworn the first fucking week they were talking about that. That's what they said.
I thought so too, but now if you
Honey
look,
dicking us.
if you look and if you paid attention the last couple of weeks, they're not talking about the title. Wyatt's not talking about the title. They're already promoting the Jinder match on SmackDown Live. Jinder's coming out. Why are you looking over me? I'm the number one contender. It's all about Jinder on SmackDown now. It's not this match is not about the title. This is just a House of Horrors match, whatever the fuck that is.
So we can't even get 2 fucking world-class championships defended within 30 days. Cool, WWE. Thanks for keeping with your fucking rule book you just released on shopwwe.com.
So yeah, I think Wyatt. I don't. It doesn't really matter who wins, but I think it's probably going to be. It could be Wyatt. It could be Randy. It doesn't matter because they're going to be on different brands now.
I just want to smack someone in the face right now. like that's like
so disappointing.
Then we had T.J. Perkins teaming up with Neville versus Austin Aries, and Jack Gallagher in a tag team match. Aries wins with the discus 5-arm over T.J. Perkins. We're going to get Austin Aries versus Neville for the championship at Payback. Where are you guys on this one?
Who was it again?
Austin Aries versus Neville. Stop watching
I'm
205
confused.
Live.
That's the problem. Is Neville's defending the fucking championship against Gallagher right now? So I'm
Is he
so fucking
defending it?
confused.
No, it's just a match.
God, quit fucking WWEing us, Joe.
Ah, good point. Neville's going to keep walking. I like the strength. Keep him rolling. Keep him riding high as the king of the cruiserweights on top. It's a smart move for them.
Yeah, he's been looking great with it, and it's hard to call yourself the king of the cruiserweights when you lose the strap. Austin Aries, he's great and everything, but I don't know. I like this thing they got with him and TJP.
Yeah, I think the TJP factor comes into it, and then we get another rematch between these two, probably at Extreme Rules, which is the next WWE pay-per-view. So I feel like there could be, this show in particular, Payback, there could be lots of shenanigans in all of the matches, leading to rematches at Extreme Rules where they have, stipulations based on what happens at this pay-per-view and on the Raws leading up to Extreme Rules. So this, I think, could definitely be one of those matches. They had a good match at WrestleMania. I think they could have a more standout match here because there's not so many other matches. Mm-hmm. So this could be a pretty good wrestling match ruined by some sort of interference or whatever, and then we get the craziness at Extreme Rules, where you certainly could do a title change there, and then Neville has the excuse, it was some sort of crazy gimmick match, and then they have another rematch. So this thing could go on another few months already as it is. So, but yeah, I like TJP now as a heel. So, and you've got a lot of potential here. I mean, Neville's having a great match with Jack Gallagher on 205 Live now, and so you've got all these great matchups. So
I gotta say, the crowd, too, looks pretty thick for a 205. I like seeing that.
Well, it's not too often you get this much entertainment in Des Moines.
Right.
So they're going to stick around.
Mentioning Gallagher, I'm actually excited to see him take on Tyler Bate on NXT tomorrow. For
yeah.
the UK Championship. I think that's going to be
Master
interesting.
Tyler.
Then we had Strowman versus Kalisto in the dumpster match. Strowman before the match doing the typical WWE healing on the crowd. I guess that's to be expected at this point because even though we all want to love Braun Strowman, in his heart he is a WWE heel.
Make me hate you.
Yeah. So he does
the cheers for the beating up Roman Reigns.
Right, yeah. I'm going to put Kalisto in the dumpster because he's trash just like all you guys here in Kansas City. Then I'm going to beat up Roman Reigns. Yes!
I mean, Kansas City is a dump.
You said it, not me.
No, it is dumb.
We've just lost both listeners from Kansas City.
Oh, wait until we shit on Iowa later.
I think we already did. So Kalisto technically wins the match. Strowman beats him up. Has struggles pushing a dumpster up the ramp when 2 weeks earlier he tipped over an ambulance, which I thought was strange. Then eventually he straps Kalisto into the dumpster, which was
because every garbage has fucking straps on like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, shoves him off the stage. Kalisto morbidly injured for life, possibly being shoved off the stage by Braun Strowman. Everybody loves Strowman. Strowman versus Reigns at Payback. It's got to be Reigns. Reigns is the big baby face, and they've been building him up. They had the big beatdown. Got taken out of the ambulance, dumped over in the ambulance, whatever. This is his big comeback. Possibly here. But then again, like I said, shenanigans could happen. We get our way into a three-way possibly with Brock Lesnar at some point, hopefully at Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Universal Champion back in play at some point. What do you guys think on this one? Taco?
Oh. I actually did enjoy that dumpster match. I was expecting nothing out of it. I was expecting right off the bat for him to throw Kalisto right in there and fucking do what he did anyway. So I thought it was a good win for Kalisto.
Yeah,
I thought it makes him look strong. And what really stuck out to me was Kurt Angle in the whole situation too. You know, actually looking after him, kind of caring about him, but also gaining Kurt Angle's respect for taking on this match.
Yeah,
for being a warrior. So and
I like the new gear for Kalisto.
Yeah, he looked really, and music too.
He's got the new music.
So, I kind of look at it, too, like when he does kind of come back from this whole situation, maybe it's a good way for Kurt Angle to maybe award him for his warrior spirit and put him, in like an Intercontinental title picture or something along those lines.
Sure.
That's just my 2 cents on that. That's what kind of stuck out to me. But yeah, it's how are you going to make Roman Reigns lose when you just beat The Undertaker? Yeah, it's just, you can't really do that. But, yeah, I don't know. I think we might get an appearance from Brock Lesnar or something.
Could be, but they're really going to save. Oh God, JBL's on Talking Smack this week. I think they're this early in the year after WrestleMania. They tend to save the Brock Lesnar appearances. We get we get a lot building up to WrestleMania, and
they have that want to fight Roman Reigns though.
Yeah. Joe, what's your prediction for the match?
I'll break the mold. I'll just say Braun Strowman's going to win just to be different, but because we all want to see him win. We want to see him destroy Roman Reigns. And what if they just did that? He comes back with a big old hype and then just...
Well, Roman has to come back all taped up, battered, and bruised, too. He's not going to be 100%.
But he's still going to battle, Taco.
I'm definitely going to skip over some stuff that's going on in Raw here. Cass and Enzo teamed up with Seth Rollins, took on Samoa Joe and Anderson and Gallows. We got the new finisher from Rollins this week, the Rainmaker knee, I guess we could call it.
That's the saddest thing ever is I immediately just went, so it's just the Rainmaker clothesline, but with a knee. So he's dancing him into his knee.
From the guy, that doesn't like the Rainmaker clothesline.
Kenny Omega was actually tweeting
I will
about
say
that.
this. I've watched a couple of Okada matches now. I get the wrist control.
Yeah.
I absolutely get that. His finisher still sucks.
It was actually Kenny Omega responding on it, saying, "Oh, at least I still have my entrance music."
Nice. So yeah, we had that fun match there. We've got the new finisher from Rollins.
It's good not to see him do a pedigree. I'm actually very happy about that.
I'm glad that they moved away from that. So, and it's interesting. I like it for a finisher. So
it was a good debut too, throwing in the pedigree and saying no.
yeah, that was a nice.
So it was
touch.
good. It's him though. It's suiting.
So on the pre-show, we're going to have Cass and Enzo versus Anderson and Gallows. On this one, I like what Anderson and Gallows are doing, and I like them being stronger in the tag team picture. And boy, they have really made Enzo look like a bitch.
Oh, he's the whooping boy of the WWE.
Yeah, that's what I've been noticing. I just see that I feel like whether or not they're money machines, they're already starting to try to put that rift in between Cass and Enzo so that the crowd's less upset when they do it.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that was the thing. The heels attacked before the match, took out Enzo, and then Balor was the surprise replacement for
slight upgrade
for Enzo.
Fun.
I thought it was noteworthy that Balor just got beat up the whole match and then made a hot tag to one of the other guys. Rollins came in and ran wild, but it was the story was about Rollins getting his new finisher over and all that. So I didn't think, even though it was Balor getting beat up the entire time, he didn't really suffer that much. And it was good to see that they are still, with the concussion last week, him in the limited match last week, him having more of a role and just, taking the heat in this match. So that it felt good that Balor looks like he's 100% back and they're trusting him in the ring. So good signs there. Since we're on this match and this feud, let's talk Rollins versus Samoa Joe. What on earth do you do here? Because you got Rollins coming off the big WrestleMania win, Joe getting this monster push, being part of the Triple H, that faction or whatever, the Triple H and his guys, the Samoa Joe. We talked about Kevin Owens now that he's on SmackDown though. So who do you have win this thing? Does this thing become a schmoz? Is there a DQ? Does Triple H come out? Typically we wouldn't see Triple H for quite a long time after WrestleMania. So I don't know. What do you guys think on this one?
I want Samoa Joe to win. I mean, I think it'd be a better story to tell than what we've been seeing with Rollins. We got what we wanted with Rollins with the big win over Triple H. Let's build up Samoa Joe into the monster that we know he can be, whether he's going to go against Brock Lesnar or eventually face other people. Again, you could have Samoa Joe for the authority. Brock Lesnar doesn't answer to any fucking authority. I like that plan, but they also could save that one. That's one they could save for down the road. So I see Samoa Joe walking out.
Joe or Taco?
Dude, you just asked me.
At least I got your name right. We forgot to mention it's the year anniversary for Joe on the show.
Woo!
So a little celebration there.
We started with only 50 listeners, guys.
Taco.
Now we're at 45. Thanks, Joe.
45.
That's what you get for insulting Kansas City and Des Moines all in one show.
That's okay.
They insult themselves. What were we talking about?
Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins.
Samoa Joe. He needs to win more or anything right now. Fine, fuck y'all. Samoa Joe needs the win. I would like to see him. But yeah, where do you go with these two? It's almost like you just maybe need a no DQ to keep it going until the next pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely, like I was saying before, with Extreme Rules the next month, and this is a brand new feud, Rollins and Samoa Joe.
Does Samoa Joe even care about wins right now? He just seems like he more wants to whoop someone's ass.
Right, yeah, I think Joe needs the win more than anything, but I could see them doing where Rollins gets the win with his new finisher, but then right after the match, Joe gets his heat back, attacks Rollins again, something like that.
Goes right to that knee.
Goes after him with a chair again, and then you have a chairs match or something like that, or tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. Something like that. So I could really see it going either way.
Or we can just hope for a one-on-one straight match and fucking get a hell of a show. Let's hope for that.
This could definitely be match of the night for Payback. So, yeah. Bliss, Alexa Bliss says people who talk about the WWE make her sick. She's not here to talk, but to win matches.
Fucking love Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, that was a really good promo. That was like a babyface promo.
Well,
she's like, stop talking. I'm just here to fight.
Just her shutting down those what chants, though, instantly like that, show that she's comfortable and she knows what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
Like, that was really like her honing it in. Like, she's the real deal.
Really good on her feet. Yeah, definitely. Bayley comes out,
Impressive.
says she's not all talk and she works hard every day. Bliss is excited to defeat Bayley in her hometown and asks, "Hey, have you ever kissed a boy?" So it's funny thinking about that. And I really wanted something different from Bayley there. It was just kind of the same old Bayley,
Yeah.
Kinda. So, yeah, but Bliss looked really good in this. So, I don't know. It feels like they might be going right to Bliss with this championship. To me, I like this. I like the Bayley story, but man, Bliss is really good. My official prediction is Bayley retaining here. But again, possibility of shenanigans is endless on this show. Taco, what do you think?
I'm really rooting for Bliss on here. I feel like the Bayley story's been told and not much has been told. she kind of needs to be stepped. We were really hoping for that fucking boss Sasha heel turn. We never really got that, and fortunately because of the shakeup, we got Bliss coming in, stepping that role for Charlotte. So, and she's really quick on her feet. She's really good at being a heel. So I feel like that's the best thing to do right now is put the strap on her, and it's just gonna make her the first two-time first SmackDown and Raw champion, and yeah, it's just gonna be more creds under her belt.
Then it was Apollo.
Skip Joe.
Oh, shit.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Hey Joe,
Taco.
fuck your opinion.
Joe, what is your prediction? I'm sorry.
I was going with Taco. I like Alexa Bliss, and I think it's just easy to transfer over considering she was carrying the title for a while on SmackDown right before the change. So, easy prediction.
All right.
Tommy's wrong.
Apollo Crews beat Kurt Hawkins with a spinning powerbomb, and Titus comes out after the match. The continuation of Hawkins and his Star Factory, which is a weird gimmick because you can only make stars by losing, so why would you brag about... Never mind, I'm not...
Hey, who's on Raw every week?
There you go. What the hell?
Yeah, it's Kurt Hawkins. What the hell?
Yeah,
Man, you're losing.
I know. I completely lost that. I fell right off the fucking thing. Aries has a great idea for 205 Live, but we don't know what it is. And The Miz tells Angle that he's got a partner, and then the Drifter walks by, and Angle's like, "That's your partner?" He's like, "No, I don't even know him." So I really enjoyed the Drifter, again, just wandering around on Raw. We talked about the main event already. I guess the only thing, did we predict... I guess we covered it all here. We got Roman versus Roman versus Strowman. So that's
Roman
it.
Strowman.
The
Strowman Stromboli.
I think they're banking on everybody chanting for Strowman, but it's sounding like Roman, and so they're going to think Roman's over when it's actually Strowman. So that could definitely be a thing. Only other thing I wanted to talk about was after Dana Brooks' win with what did I call it? When Dana Brooke beat Alicia Fox with the careless throw off her shoulders, Emma came out to congratulate her and stole Bayley's gimmick and just gave her a hug. So I thought that was interesting because that's literally what Bayley's gimmick started as in NXT, just like this person who comes out and gives hugs. And
do you want to know what I found interesting about that match? Alicia Fox is still wrestling.
Well, she's back wrestling now that the whole Noam Dar situation on 205 Live is over. So I guess she's back to being a wrestler on Raw now.
Makes sense.
So, all right, let's get into some SmackDown.
Change the subject. SmackDown Live.
Playa.
I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of calling somebody the artist known as anything in 2017. That's a really antiquated thing to do. It's just old. But nevertheless, they're calling Shinsuke Nakamura the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. They promoted it all day on Raw that he was going to come out and address the WWE universe, which is like, oh, so he's going to come out and do another promo. So disappointing all the way through, but he does come out. They do have a little interaction between him and Ziggler. I enjoyed Shinsuke interviewing Ziggler with the mouthpiece in.
Right.
The guy already has a thick Japanese accent, but we're gonna have him cut promos with a mouthpiece in, which is.
I could not get over the fucking red teeth printed on it, like just sticking out like a really standard racist like Chinaman. It's so bad.
I do like it. It's a unique thing.
Only he can pull it off, though.
Right,
that's the thing.
Right. Like it sounds like I'm complaining about it.
Thank you, Rome Rush.
But I do like him cutting promos with a mouthpiece in. I don't know what it is. It's fucking weird, and it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And the fact everybody knows he's out there to cut a promo. He's not out there to wrestle. He's just out there to address the WWE universe. Renee Young brought him out for an interview, and he comes out with the mouthpiece in. So it's such an interesting, unique dynamic. So, but yeah, we need to see. We we got to see a match. They cannot stretch this all the way to May 21st. That's when Backlash is. We cannot wait that long.
I just didn't like all of fucking Ziggler's like outdated Michael Jackson references.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that was lame.
it's not needed. We can visually see the references there. Most of that crowd is not going to get those references, dude. Like, fucking...
It was brutal.
It was a hard fucking opening. It's... God damn it, WWE.
Again, it was a lot of talking yesterday, and then we got to start off with a guy whose native language is not English with a 20-minute promo, and they cut right to... I mean, they cut... Like, he didn't even get a word in, and here comes Ziggler with his music coming out to do his part.
You know Ziggler wrote half that material.
Oh, that
He's
was
a comedian.
That was all Ziggler. That was really bad. AJ Styles took on Baron Corbin in a rematch from last week because Corbin got counted out or whatever. Styles wins with a sunset roll after the Kevin Owens distraction at ringside. Owens and Corbin beat down after the match on AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn comes out. So now it has been an evolution since WrestleMania for AJ Styles. First, it was the match at WrestleMania. Then it was coming out the night after WrestleMania, shaking Shane McMahon's hand. Then it was the following week in the promo where AJ's like, "No offense, Sami Zayn, but I'm the greatest." So, and now this week, he's not announced as the face that runs the place anymore. He just comes out, has a babyface match versus Baron Corbin. The heels, Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin, beat down AJ Styles. They gang up on him after the match. And then Sami Zayn comes out to the rescue. So, AJ Styles, full-on babyface now.
Yep.
I hope he keeps kind of the same cool attitude stuff that he was doing as a heel. What are your thoughts on this, Taco?
Yeah, it's...
I know you liked AJ as a heel.
Oh, no, it served its purpose, but it's just with how phenomenal he's doing, it's the pops that he's getting, it's really hard to keep him as a heel. And no, I really did enjoy what he was doing as a heel. You know, he was going against John Cena, you know, Ambrose, so the cards have been played, but, you know, there's a shakeup for a reason, and, you know, AJ Styles was kind of, you know, on the face side of everything so far, so might as well rock it and kind of, you know, get some more heels out there.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think? That...
I mean, I like it. I mean, I like that it was just a natural turn. He didn't have to explain anything. You just made it. It just happened. And whether AJ Styles is heel or face, I mean,
I can't wrestle.
heel or face, he's gonna work. So let him be him. Like, that's what we need. We just need AJ Styles to be AJ Styles, and that'll work just fine for everybody.
And I want him to keep like the beat up John Cena attitude as a babyface. Like, don't do the smiling happy babyface thing. I want him to have a little bit of an edge to him. So
I don't think that'll ever go away with him. He's just got that swagger.
I hope so. I really do.
Not Jack Swagger.
Then it was American Alpha versus the Colognes in a beat the clock challenge.
The
so
Colons.
These two,
Rude.
These two had a match, and it went 5 minutes 17 seconds. Alphas did get the win with grand amplitude. This was a strange match because it was a short match. They didn't do a hot tag in the match. It was just grand amplitude out of nowhere.
Thank God, I'm kind of sick of the hot tag between them two. I need to see more.
Yeah, well,
Right?
I really need to see more out of American Alpha.
that's the thing is, yeah, we need to. SmackDown has to tell American Alpha's story. And so, I mean, it was very predictable because so the Alphas beat the Colognes in 5 minutes 17 seconds, and then they announced that it's going to be Breezango versus the Ascension.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way that they're giving those teams more than 5 minutes. Of course, it was Breezango getting the win. So now on the next
Fashion Popo.
the next pay-per-view, we've got Breezango going for the tag team titles versus the Usos, and
The
fucking
Usos.
Jinder Mahal going for the world title versus Randy Orton, presumably versus Randy Orton, because Jinder stole the title after his match with Eric Rowan. Talk about another snoozer, what we should have did when we were watching SmackDown. This match, and again,
Watch Impact?
well,
It's not that bad, Taco.
Oh.
It's funny. They tried to make Eric Rowan versus Randy Orton special by making it a stipulation match.
These nuts, anything Ghost!
But again, when you do that stuff
I can't wait to hear that man's voice again.
I know, right? He's on Netflix now.
It's been too long.
I got to get on Netflix. Instead of Total Divas this week, I got to get on Netflix and get some classic Dario sound bites for the show. That might be some good
I don't know
stuff.
why. I'm just picturing when the colognes come out, it just says the, and then there's 2 colons.
That'd be better than the Shining Stars and the Matadores or whatever. So,
well, Shining
That's
Stars
El
is too far from
Matadores.
Collins.
so
A lot of butthole talk this week.
Yeah.
Damn.
Natty and friends tell
Moving
Becky.
dick to butt.
Natty and friends tell Becky Lynch that you're either with us or against us. And so the main event of the show ended up being Naomi versus Charlotte in a very good match for a title. This was better than their first match. So again, with these two working together more, getting better in the ring. So good stuff there. I like how Charlotte, in her little stats as she comes out, she is the queen of WWE. That's her stat. As she
These stats have been so fucking bad lately.
Yeah.
Faced Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Clearly, we know this info. That's why we are watching.
Yeah. So ends up in a DQ because Natty and friends come out and attack Charlotte and Naomi. It's a DQ. At one point, Charlotte kicks out of the rear view. Got a couple of nice near falls. Some good back and forth in the match
That's
itself.
seriously what that move is called?
Yeah, the rear view.
That's awesome. I think I enjoy it just a little bit more because of that.
We popped Joe with the rear view with the hip attack from Naomi. The butt bump. Yes.
Take that bump all day long.
It's the funky weapon, by the way.
Yes, the funky weapon.
But where are you guys at on Becky Lynch? So she's been kind of off TV since WrestleMania. She came back this week, had her little interview, but then Natty and friends come in, say either you're with us or against us. She doesn't come out at the end of the show, signifying that she is neither with or against Natty and friends. But I don't know, Joe, where are you at on Becky Lynch?
I've never been a big Becky Lynch fan from the beginning. Again, great wrestler. I'm not into the personality, and especially on the mic.
She has a great personality. Fuck you, Joe.
But
You're a pig.
You're a pig.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
But I don't know. I would like a nice heel turn for her. I mean, you don't need any more heels, obviously, on SmackDown, so that's probably not the way they're going to go with it. Make her a leader of the pack or anything like that. But it could be a good underdog story, her fighting against one against all, and then slowly building a team against them.
No.
Taco, where are you at on Becky Lynch?
I'm interested to see what she was saying on Talking Smack, but
yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of with Joe a little bit. I would kind of like to see a little bit of heel side of her, not necessarily team up with the bad bitches.
Oh, that's so what we're calling them from now on.
Not to team up with them, but
I feel like there should be a good alliteration with like Natty, and they're like Natty's Naturals or
Natty's Vice.
I don't know. Anyways, Lynch, as you were saying.
But maybe keep her. Maybe it's good to keep her off camera, not for a good period of time, but for a little bit to kind of to showcase. Tamina now. I mean, fucking even since before she was injured, I was kind of cracking a joke like she makes a good muscle. That's all she fucking does, and. Maybe show her off a little bit, get her back into the ring, get, Carmella some more ring work, because honestly, Carmella's been impressing me since this brand split. I thought she'd be one of the fucking weakest links, and still Nia Jax is linkest.
Yeah, she's decent decent in the ring, better than Nia Jax probably, and clever on the mic. She comes across
her
well.
own, so I'm happy to see what she's doing. And then, fucking Naomi's fucking taking, she's the champ, so it's fucking good to see. What I'm feeling from SmackDown, though, tonight is that this is going to be a big face turn for Charlotte. She kind of needs that in her career at this point.
Oh, man, when they brought her, it looks like that's what they're doing, I agree, with especially with Natty's Naturals, even though I don't know if natties are natural.
Bad bitches.
The bad bitches attacking Charlotte. That's definitely what it looks like. For me, Becky Lynch, and I don't think that's a good idea, by the way. Charlotte's such a good heel.
Perfect
and
heel.
Her run when she first came in as a babyface, it wasn't as
hard,
good.
but she needs to push herself too. She needs to be uncomfortable. She's too comfortable right now.
That's true. I mean, and the other thing too is the crowd is behind her in this story. So if this is the time to pull the trigger on it to see if it works, I suppose. Getting back to Lynch, for me, there's an unfinished story here. Like I felt
nice. We got a sneak attack.
Oh, on Talking Smack, we got Baron Corbin. He's going after Zayn.
Oh, cool.
Of all people, interesting. Well, of course,
set up something.
Of course,
nice.
it was Zayn that came out on SmackDown and it saved the day for
you want to
AJ
interfere, Zayn?
It does this little half punch or whatever.
Hey, got the computer working earlier.
Yeah. Where's I at on Baron Corbin here?
Got a hit.
Anyway, I was talking about Becky Lynch. Unfinished. There's an unfinished story there. To me, she's still the big baby face on SmackDown for the women's division, and so I feel like, to me as a fan, I just feels like there's an untold story there. Obviously, they're going with Charlotte and other things there. So I like what you were.
Lynch. I don't want to see her team up. I just want to see more of that ruthless aggression out of her. She's another one too comfortable, doing her, fucking Becky Lynch mode shit.
And I agree with like a feud with Tamina and Carmella that could do some good building her back up.
There's just a lot of these girls where it's just like let's look a year ago and let's just say the pioneers of this movement right now they're exactly the same spot they were a year ago, and you look at someone like Carmella, perfect example. You see where she was in NXT, fucking, cruising the high life with Enzo and Cass. Fucking, they made it to the main roster. She got the fucking call up. Right before that, she was a big baby face, and then instantly she's just, week in, week out, impressive. Same with Alexa Bliss, just day in, day out, impressive. And it's just like, I feel like some of these girls are kind of going out, out of their way and kind of, being uncomfortable a little bit. And right now I feel like it's a prime opportunity, especially someone like Natty. She needs to shine. She really needs something.
She needs some merchandise.
She has the look to be such a fucking evil heel. Even when she's babyface, she has that look, though. It's kind of always been my problem. But now
let's get some badass Natty.
We don't need her fucking. I'm the top coach interrupting rude shit. No, we need badass Natty.
Yeah.
She has fucking Tamina on her side now. She has fucking Carmella too on her side. It's just we've seen these cliques before. It's nothing new, but we need to see a side of Natty we've never seen before. Fucking just mean, nasty shit. We don't need to know about your fucking kitty cats. We know about your cats. We love them. We follow them. Everything. But yeah, it's just I just want to see some of these girls get out of their comfort, because I feel like that's going to bring them to that next level, we know they can do that. All
right, let's change the subject. I want to get into just a tidbit of New Japan.
Change the subject. King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
We had a couple of Road to Wrestling Dontaku shows over the last weekend. Now, I'm not going to get into a bunch of detail about that here, because I'm going to talk about it on Strong Honor, the other podcast that I do talking about New Japan and Ring of Honor. But a couple of noteworthy things, and then I wanted to bring up the Access TV show that's on cable TV here in America, featuring New Japan matches from the past year or so. This week on Access, it was the match where Naito won the Intercontinental title from Michael Elgin. Okay. And what was interesting about not only it was a great match, took up the entire hour, but what's nice on that show is you get the translated promos of before and after the match and stuff. And what I would like about it, what ties into what Naito is doing now, and Naito has never been respectful of the title. So he wins the title from Elgin, and in his post-match promo, he throws the title up in the air. He doesn't give a fuck about it, and that's how he's treated it ever since. Now, in his promo, he says, This is very interesting. He says, this title represents someone that used to hold it, referring to Nakamura. And then he has heat there because 2 years prior at Wrestle Kingdom, when Naito won the G1 Climax, challenged Tanahashi for the title, and then it was Nakamura and I think it was... I don't remember what the match was, but the New Japan put it to a fan vote. Which match do you want in the main event? And the fans voted for Nakamura and the IC title in the main event. And so the story is that Naito has heat with the fans, has heat with that decision, has heat with that title.
And he's still carrying it over this long.
And so he doesn't give a fuck about that title. Fuck this title. And in the promo, he's like, which one's going to give in first? Is the title going to break, or is my animosity for the title going to break? Which will break first? And so he fucking treats the title like shit. He throws it around. Now, the latest thing that he's doing is when he comes to the ring, he just kicks the title to the ring on the floor. And on one of these Road 2 shows, in the main event, it was Naito versus, it doesn't really matter, but he's kicking his belt to the ring, and there's this kid fan who's got a replica title.
And
the kid's got a Bushi mask on another member of Los Ingobernables de Japón. And the kid's got the title on the floor, and he's holding the fist up to do the fist bump with, that Los Ingobernables does. Naito sees the kid there, sees the title on the floor, kind of looks around. Fuck it, and he gives the kid the fist bump. So it was just awesome. And then fucking Juice Robinson fucking planches out of the ring onto Naito at ringside and just fucking kills him and goes right into the match. But just a fun moment there. And fun
stuff like that makes you, appreciate and love pro wrestling, because it's just, those are the moments you remember for a long time.
Yeah, so I'll talk more about New Japan on Strong Honor, but I wanted to kind of get into that and the little nugget that tied in, because it's nice when, the Access shows. I mean, that Intercontinental title match, I think, was from September of last year, I want to say, something like that. It was after the G1, obviously, when Naito won the IC title. So it might have been September or October when that match took place. So I like that tying in with current storyline.
Sure.
So fun stuff. Let's get into Ring of Honor.
Change the subject.
So like I said, we're finally caught up to what happened on the pay-per-views and stuff like that, and we're promoting the next pay-per-view, which is War of the Worlds. That's coming up May 12th, and this is going to feature a lot of New Japan guys coming in. And there's some interesting matchups they're promoting, too, because there's not only this pay-per-view, but there's some house shows that they're doing in, like, Michigan and Toronto, I want to say. The pay-per-view is in New York, but, like, they're promoting, like, a Skrull Kushida TV title match. That's before the pay-per-view, I want to say. But for so far on the actual pay-per-view, which is interesting, Adam Cole is going to be taking on New Japan ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is an interesting matchup because Adam Cole's contract is up May 1st. This is taking place May 10th or May 12th. So interesting that they've at least worked out some sort of deal where he's going to keep working for Ring of Honor. But again, it's weird because, like, we were talking Kyle O'Reilly earlier, who hasn't had a contract for months now, and the speculation was he's probably going to go to WWE. But WWE is backed off of offering these Ring of Honor guys contracts because Ring of Honor has kind of accused WWE of, like, colluding with guys before their contracts are up. So WWE is backed off of these Ring of Honor guys, at least for signing them right away, right out of their contract. So I wonder if
maybe they want them to have their bodies healed too a little bit, because they're doing a lot of Japan America travel, and that's definitely not easy on the body by any means.
Right. It's interesting. Everybody has talked about in the past how the WWE schedule is crazy. A lot of these indie guys who are going back, I mean, they're going
UK, Japan, Ireland, Australia.
Right. And then when they're in the United States, some guys were doing PWG on the West Coast one day, then flying to do Evolve on the East Coast the next. So I mean, those aren't short flights too.
They can only pray for a WWE schedule.
So yeah, the indie schedule for the top indie guys has been crazy.
Just look how beat up the Hardy Boys are, like you were saying earlier. So it's just like, you don't want to bring in a big talent to have the Hideo Itami effect. Yeah,
there's that. Interesting though but Adam Cole probably suspecting that even though his contract is up, maybe he's not going to be getting that WWE offer right away, and then continuing to take bookings for Ring of Honor. Also for the May 12th show, Marty Scurll versus Matt Sydal. That kind of developed on this week's Ring of Honor TV show with Scurll defeating Frankie Kazarian in the main event of the show. That was a pretty good, fun little match.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Marty Scurll match, man. He's been putting on fun, good matches. And apparently the story is when you're in a match with the villain, you have to go to villainous tactics yourself to get the win. And Kazarian goes and gets the powder underneath the ring. Apparently he wanted to do some freebasing with the referee or with Marty Scurll, but he throws the powder, tried to get it in Skrull's face, didn't work, ended up hitting the referee with the powder. Ref goes down. Hangman
My powder, man.
Hangman Page comes out and nails Kazarian with a chair, and then that's how Scurll retains the TV title. So he'll be defending against Matt Sydal. Speaking of drugs,
synthetic.
Yeah, it's fake.
On the May 12th War of the Worlds show, he comes out after the match and challenges Marty Scurll to that one.
That'll be a fun one.
And then the main event, or whatever, the title match of the show is a little convoluted. It's kind of crazy how they get into it because Christopher Daniels comes out at the beginning of the show this week and says, so next week we got the four-way match to determine the number one contender, and that's Jay Lethal, Jay White, Hangman Page, and Silas Young. So the winner of that faces Christopher Daniels at War of the Worlds. But then Cody Rhodes comes out and says, I want a title shot. I'm a Rhodes. I lost to Jay Lethal, but that doesn't matter. I have a name, and I want a title shot. And so Christopher Daniels says, well, I'd love to give you a title shot, but I don't make those decisions. And then Cody's like, but you're the champion. Don't you have any kind of power? So he says, okay, fine. I'll fight you. I'll fight anybody. I don't care. So it is going to be, at least this is what it says on Ring of Honor's website. It will be Christopher Daniels if he defeats Matt Taven. So it's the winner of Christopher Daniels and Matt Taven versus Cody Rhodes versus the winner of the four-way match next week on TV. So,
was Cody Rhodes
a lot of moving
freaking
parts?
Contacts.
He does have a contact that he wears with an American flag on it.
Okay, I just couldn't tell if he was trying to do, again, like troll the Stardust thing. I didn't know about the American flag, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on when I was looking into his eyes. So majestic.
I did like that he mentioned what was the Stardust line that he had on Ring
just
of
something
Honor?
About covering it in Stardust.
Yeah,
He used to be known as the Fallen Angel.
Right. So that was pretty good. Shane Taylor, former...
so they do have it as official as a triple threat match?
Yes, it is listed on Ring of Honor's
I was
website.
thinking that they might make him just do double duty and then have Cody...
You said...
Yeah, we're making you immature. But, I was looking at it that way of making him just do double duty and then have him lose to Cody Rhodes over the night saying, I wasn't even 100% against Cody kind of situation, but a triple threat, all right.
I wonder who they're going to put in because we got for the third guy in it, Jay Lethal, Jay White. Interesting story there with Lethal. You got the Hangman Page thing who just attacked Kazarian. Silas Young's been kind of in and out of the mix, but the Lethal story...
The Lethal is the biggest story.
The most interesting one with the tie into Cody, the bull rope match that they just had. So
that kind of brings them full circle to the title picture, too.
Yep. Shane Taylor took on Leo Rush, got a win there. After
he cheated, he had two big old hams in those pockets.
Had the hams in his pockets. The Caprice Coleman distraction out there. Motor City Machine Guns come out to help after the match as they're attacking, but the Rebellion attack the Motor City Machine Guns there. So the Leo Rush Rebellion saga continuing, and the inclusion of the Motor City Machine Guns also continuing. Then we had the Top Prospect Tournament Finals. John Schuyler took on Josh the Goods Woods, and Josh the Goods Woods won with his knee bar submission. It was a different kind of knee bar submission, but I didn't catch the name of it, but it was a slight variation. But
I actually was more for Schuyler than I was for the Goods.
Was it just because Josh Woods Woods or whatever he's got the potential there, but he definitely looks green. The timing not quite there on a lot of things, just a little bit.
Yeah, Schuyler just felt a lot solid, like just a lot better with his moves. He was able to handle it better.
Ring of Honor must see money in him because NXT let him go. Woods.
I didn't realize that he was with NXT.
Yeah, he was there for a little bit,
Okay.
not really like on TV or anything,
No,
but
no.
he was developmental, and they must have fucking not seen anything in him, let him go, and now he's fucking tearing up in Ring of Honor. So good for him, but
Yeah.
I'm with you. I thought that the other cat looked kind of more fluid and more wrestler presentable. But the dude definitely had some good moves. Definitely fun watching him with those arm bars in. So he's in the right spot. I personally feel over NXT. I feel he's with his skill set as an MMA fighter, he's going to learn more in the wrestling world, being on the indie scene than developmental.
He's definitely got room to improve. But I like what I've seen so far. Overall, the top prospect tournament was not very good this year.
No.
So, and that the Skyler, he was the better professional wrestler in the match, but he did not stand out to me as a guy that would be a star, especially in Ring of Honor. He just kind of came across as he was a guy that was a decent wrestler, and there's nothing
with the real gimmick.
right. So
who is that cat? I don't know who he is. David Starr.
Oh,
I'm not familiar.
That's right.
With
He
him
came
at
out.
all.
He came out and attacked Woods.
I
after
feel like
the match.
that whole thing was just to introduce him, I guess.
That certainly could be. I know he's definitely an indie name. I've seen him on some Evolve shows. So looks like he either signed with Ring of Honor or we'll just have a increased presence on Ring of Honor.
I like that little promo of him saying, I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. I just know how to do pro wrestling, set the mic down, and walk out. I like that a lot, so I'm actually looking forward to see what this dude does. And
I almost forgot about him. He was
what
good.
does his shirt say? Just taunt or whatever?
Yeah, taunt. Yeah.
I fucking, you're already speaking so much to me, man. So
yeah, and that's I definitely saw him on an Evolve show because I remember the taunt thing, that gimmick or whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. So, all right, let's switch it up one more time and talk some NXT.
Change the subject.
Now, I did look over my notes for NXT this week, so hopefully
I watch NXT.
Hopefully, I don't get as confused as I did last week when going over what happened on NXT. Bobby Roode says he single-handedly sold out the Amway Center and confirms that the new NXT era belongs to him.
True.
That he scared away Nakamura. Nakamura isn't better than him. I'm Bobby Roode. I'm the champion. And I embarrassed him at TakeOver. Then Hideo Itami comes out in a suit with no socks in his shoes. He slaps him, hits the GTS, and holds the belt up in the air. So at NXT TakeOver in Chicago on the 20th of next month, it's going to be Itami versus Bobby Roode looking like. So nothing wrong with that. Hopefully Itami can stay injury-free.
I hope so. I'm glad they're just kind of putting him right where he left off.
Yeah, in a high spot. And speaking of remaining injury-free, if you want to have a safe match, I think Bobby Roode is a good opponent to have a safe match with. So then we had the announcement that it's going to be Tyler Bate versus Jack Gallagher this week on NXT for the UK title, and the most respectful promo ever. So they're two very, very gentlemanly guys cutting promos on each other. But yeah, should be a very fun match this week.
I reckon so.
Then we had a little skit, and normally I complain about WWE skits, but the way they've been doing them on NXT lately has been very, very good. So Heavy Machinery is they're recording themselves working out because that's the kind of guys they are. They're going to post social media videos of them working out, and then there's Drew McIntyre. That's going to screw me up forever, the McIntyre-Galloway thing. McIntyre is over there working out in the background as Heavy Machinery is taping their own workout.
Get psyched.
Then Almas comes in, gets in Galloway's face, McIntyre's face, and challenges him, and then he says he's going to go to the club and he's going to go party, and everybody's like, but it's like 1:15 p.m. So I love
it.
I love that there's a reason that the camera is there. It's Heavy Machinery just being douchebags or whatever, but it's cool because that's what they do. But then the shit happens off to the side. So I loved that whole segment. That was awesome. Then it was Almas versus Danny Burch. Now, Danny Burch is this Martin Stone guy that I was talking about last week. Remember, I was talking about that Rev Pro show and how Martin Stone had the match where he was teaming with Sami Callihan, and then after the match, Callihan attacks him. Well, I couldn't think of the name because I just wasn't on my mind at the time. But yeah, Danny Burch, a.k.a. Martin Stone, who's feuding with Sami Callihan and Rev Pro. So Almas did get the win with the double knees and the hammerlock DDT, continuing to build up for the match eventually between him and Galloway. Fucking
McIntyre.
Probably at the Chicago show. Yeah.
McAway.
All the NXT women.
Clint Dix.
All the NXT
Dave
women.
Dix.
Oh,
All of the NXT women say that Asuka is getting cocky and that will be her demise. Now, I saw some speculation online from different people saying, I wanted Ember Moon to get the win. I thought she would get it versus Asuka, but she just couldn't get it done. Is it going to be Nikki Cross? Is it going to be Ruby Riott? So a lot of people speculating there. I really think the story is Ember Moon still getting a second chance. She might be
injured, actually.
Is that real? Oh, okay.
I forgot to read the details, but
I
it was
didn't
at
see
a
that.
house show that she might have suffered an injury. I didn't read see how serious it was or anything. I should do better
She
fucking
was
journalism.
not in good shape going in the back from what I heard. I did hear about this. Apparently she was in tears, so it might not be great.
Okay, well,
hope for the best.
To me, I like the story that Ember Moon was getting the best of Asuka, about to hit the finisher, and that's when Asuka panicked, shoved the referee into the ropes, and that's how Asuka got the win over Ember Moon.
I just absolutely loved this video package as a whole. Like, just every woman saying, like, oh, she's a bad fucking bitch. Like, I thought I need to be the champion. I'm going to be the one. Like, it was almost New Japan-esque, like very sports, orientated, and that was awesome, refreshing to see. Instead, unlike on fucking Raw, where we get a video package of, hey, Miss Roman Reigns, here's all the moments you missed. It's like, no, you're wasting my fucking time with this shit.
I forgot about that.
NXT just does, like they're doing such a great job of just their whole roster pretty much getting stripped clean and them introducing new people and you giving a fuck about them. Like,
right.
They do such a phenomenal job with that. And this video package just, proof of that. It was just like, it gave you the whole overview of all the women and just like, it just fucking hyped up. I was hyped up for every woman to fight Asuka.
And the idea that Asuka is vulnerable now, that she is beatable, and she has shown that card that she's getting cocky or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a fun story all
Going
around.
Down the Ronda Rousey road.
I read that she's either approaching or has beaten
beat
Goldberg's
it.
single match record.
I did see that got...
Which I just find fascinating after all this Goldberg work, and they're like, yeah, we let a woman beat your record, no big deal.
Yeah, good times. Then it was Liv Morgan and Ali Yah taking on Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay after the ice tub incident from last week's backstage skit that I also enjoyed because it was the Mean Girls with their phones out and then getting dumped in the ice tub.
Just could not get out.
It's impossible to get out of the ice tub.
Dude, ice tubs suck.
So Liv Morgan and Ali Yah get the win with the sunset roll-up after Liv breaks up the illegal Peyton Royce assist. She was trying to get the sunset on Peyton on Billy, and she's holding onto the ropes, and Royce breaks up, holding on to whatever it was. Royce breaks up Liv breaks up the nonsense, and the baby faces get the win. Then the main event, Eric Young of Sanity, taking on Ty Dillinger in a steel cage match. Interesting. EY got a little blood in the match somehow. A little hard way there. Hits a big elbow drop from the top of the cage.
Picture perfect elbow drop. He couldn't have been even more spot on how he hit that when he hit the ground.
Then in a strange move, a tiebreaker does hit his finisher, hits the tiebreaker, but doesn't go for the pin. He goes to escape the cage, which I thought was strange. Just go for a pin. He's right there. Just do it.
No, we need to get rid of fucking pinfalls.
Yeah,
get rid of that
Fuck
shit.
that shit.
Eliminate that.
So, but he goes to escape. Sanity comes out. Then the other baby faces come out and even the odds with Sanity. Ty hits a high cross onto Killian Dane and Eric Young off the top of the cage, then escapes through the door as Alex Wolf scales the side of the cage. So again, I don't like a babyface winning via escape. It should be if escape is a clause, that should be how the heel wins. A babyface should win by pinning the guy in the middle. That's the reason for the cage match. But at least the Ty got the win. And
I actually didn't like this match at all.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not high on it. So.
It was very low for a farewell match. It seemed just so lackluster.
Right. It should have been
most of Ty's fucking matches to me, honestly.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what's going to end up with Ty on SmackDown. You know, it's cool, the 10 thing and all
Shit,
that.
We didn't even get him this week.
We didn't get him this week. That thing last week was kind of strange too. The video, just him doing the weird interview and then throwing to the video package. This is me. I'm the perfect 10. So yeah.
For how much that cage match was hyped up, I was actually looking forward to it. And yeah, just as a whole, it's just very disappointed. And you know, I was actually rooting for Eric Young to win that one, but you know, can't win them all, I guess.
Well, and he's another person that I also agree in the Ty situation. I mean, I haven't had as long to see him, but Eric Young has been disappointing in his matches. When I've seen him, they've been lackluster. They haven't been anything special, and it is a bunch of bullshit, which is part of the group, but like I want to see something from Eric Young. He's one of the better wrestlers you'll see in the professional wrestling right now, and we've got nothing but him going, good time.
Say he was never really anything amazing in TNA. He was, you know, entertaining, good name and everything, but you know, he's more of the faction is what, you know, what's there. But I feel like they're kind of doing the Wyatt thing with him, and you know, you're gonna mean shit with all your losses.
Yeah, I like the gimmick, but yeah, again with him, at least we can. Here's an excuse. I mean, Ty won, but it was via escape. He didn't pin him. He didn't submit him. He just got out of the cage. So plausible deniability for Eric Young, and he can kind of maybe, I don't know. He can tout that going forward, I suppose.
I know a lot of people,
but it doesn't do any favors for anybody.
There, you know, a lot of people are really rooting for Ember Moon for the women's championship. I'm actually rooting for Nikki Cross in this one. Like, I just feel like to beat crazy, you got to be crazy, and to me, that's the story, and it's gonna make her. Ember Moon's already a threat on NXT, so you know, I don't feel like she needs it right now.
Sure. I can't disagree with that. All right. I can't think of a better way to wrap up the show than that, because if we start talking about dick pics, it's just going to go out the window here.
Oh, God.
If you want to follow the show on Twitter, at BPW Podcast, go on the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com, or just search your favorite podcasting gimmick for Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can email the show, bestprowrestlingpodcast at gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Taco, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me at Joe BPWP.
That's right.
Oh, that was
just
short.
think Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, Tom.
I was getting like fucking holding breath in my air in my lungs to start speaking, but
I mean, I haven't quite
like,
gotten rid of a BWCHKABRWNCOW yet, but
so follow that if you remember. All right, that's gonna do it. Bye.
Peace.
That is tremendous analysis. Absolutely right.
What? No, yes.
She looks like a hyena.
I am smitten.
Personally, I like to see the ladies. I'm sorry about that.
I'm not burning with you!
What a week it's been. So much to talk about.
I think you're a moron.